We are back again out at the settlement site, and we're not even on yet. I had someone in the comments say that I need to show my tools of trade and my settings, so we're going to do that before we start. For any new detectors who might be interested. Anyway, I'm using the Equinox 800 by Minelab. So, you know, it's not the most up-to-date detector out there. There's new models out now, but I reckon it does a pretty good job, and I'm happy to stick with it. Anyway, standard coil that comes with it. I do have a 6-inch coil, but today I'm just using the 11-inch coil which comes with the machine. Turn him on. Oops, and drop him. Turn him on, and all I normally do is, as you can see, I've got it fairly wide open. I believe it's down to 1, just because I'm not in a park, I'm out in the bush, so I'm going to dig lower numbers, and there's not going to be a heap of pull tabs and bottle caps screaming at me the whole time. So I've got it wide open for this setting. I'm in field 1, multi frequency. All I normally do is click the settings button and press this accept reject button, and that will just do that, and then press the setting button again and you're in ground balance mode. Find a clear patch of ground without too much signal-y interference. It will chatter a bit, but fairly silent there. So hold down this accept reject button and just pump it. You can see the number change, it's about 21. Sometimes it'll bounce higher or lower, but depending on your ground. Volume is 19. And I've got this 5-tone targets, and as I said, I've got everything below 1 cancelled out. And swing speed 5. So that's pretty much it. That's all I do to set up the detector, and you know, you can air balance it again and ground balance it if it starts chattering or that. Got a shovel. I just made this one. You know, just cut down a head and made a handle. It's been pretty good. I have had to weld it one time. Was starting to crack out, which if you get a nice good quality head, they do last longer. But anyway, I think that's a cyclone head actually, and I had to modify the handle because normally they stick out at an angle like this, which if you're trying to dig straight down, suddenly your handle's like this, and it's, you know, a bit harder. So I've made it more straight up and down. Anyway, didn't stick in. And pinpointer, I have got a Profinder 35, so you know, it's been good. Seems to last, the batteries seem to last in it. I don't think I've ever changed them. I did have it, trying to do this one-handed, I did put a bit of rubber over the end there, because it did have a crack down here, which I don't know how or why it cracked, but this model is supposed to be waterproof, which I don't know if it is anymore. But anyway, I don't really use it in water that much. So anyway, I just put a bit of old bike tube over there to give it a bit of protection, which, you know, you could do that from new and save your tip a bit if you're rummaging in the dirt all the time. So, you know, a lot of people seem to use these as a bit of a digging tool, which is not really the way to do it. So, you know, their ends sort of get wrecked, but you try not to dig with it too much. It is only plastic. And I have mine on a, don't know if you can see here, just a little lanyard thing that, you know, so I can use it and then it, you know, doesn't get lost. It can just hang there till I put it back in my pocket. Always good to carry some water with you, of course, especially in summer. Got our rubbish bag, fines bag, a little squirty bottle to clean up your silvers and that. I tend to just bring a Ziploc bag, and any coins or, you know, buttons or anything, I'll just pop them in there and put it in the bag, and it's nice and compact, you know, it's not a bulky box in there. So, you know, that's just a personal thing. There's nothing wrong with a fines box. Toothbrush and a little scrubber brush just to clean up coins and stuff. And that is really about all I carry in here. The rest is just, I'll put all the rubbish in there, and then when I get home I empty it out. So that's about all I normally carry. If you're at a park or somewhere, sometimes I'll take a little shovel just because it looks a bit less terrifying than carrying this around, although because of the small head on this, you can dig just as neat a hole with this as a little shovel, I reckon. But anyway, it just looks a bit bad walking around with a shovel in a park. Anyway, so anyway, that's about it. So we'll keep heading over to where I am going to detect and see what we find today. And all we're doing is swing over the ground, and you try and stay, you know, as close to the ground without dragging your coil on it. And just nice swings back and forward. And the ideal way to go is to only move forward half a coil every swing so that you're overlapping. And, you know, there's going to be a little bit of chatter depending where you are on that, but see, there's a signal there, but often there's just little chirps and chatters. So you got to find a nice repeatable signal, which I don't know if there's going to be many around here. Let's see if we can find one. Well, there's a low one. Now all I do is you've got to keep an eye on the spot where it bips in the middle. I do that, and then I go the opposite way. Do the same thing, and you can make a cross in your mind or mark it with your foot or something, and that is where you dig. Usually pretty accurate. Sometimes if it's an odd shape or something, it can be you know, can be a bit off. So normally you always dig wide, don't dig close to it, and try and dig straight down. You don't want to be digging in at an angle like this because you can hit it. And I should have mentioned, you can look on the screen here, and the little arrows there tell you roughly how far down it is. I think it's every arrow is 1 inch, but you know, it does sort of not always that accurate. But you know, 3 bars down, it's not going to be too far down. So it's a pretty low number. It's going to be probably, it could be a button, it could just be a bit of rubbish. So we'll dig it, seeing as we've bothered to mark it and find it. And of course, being such a low number, it may be hard to find. So, see where it's gone. So do the same thing, cross. You know it's about here somewhere. Normally you just have a bit of a look for it first, and if you can't see it, then, oops, that's where the pinpointer comes in. Turn him on and try and find him. I reckon he's in, I don't know, there he is there. Probably going to be a bit of lead or something. Yeah, don't know what that is, but a little bit of metal of some sort. So that was all that 8 was, which, you know, doesn't surprise me. It's a pretty low number. So pop him in the pouch, and we just always fill in the holes as neat as you can. Of course, out in the bush here, it's a bit different than a manicured park. You know, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but I still like to get it pretty well. Put the dirt in, trample it down, and then what I normally do is, once it's all trampled down, is just get a bit of dirt and just flick it, and it just makes it look, you know, just makes it look that much better. And if you're in the leaves, it's even easier. You can just kick some leaves over it, and, you know, you're not leaving a big ugly scar. Anyway, so that's all I do. Had a 29 here. Very shallow. Thought it was going to be a bottle cap for sure. Of course, the numbers do jump around a bit, but we've got that. So I don't know if that's a coin or not. It certainly looks good. I reckon it could be, you know. And I reckon it could well be a shilling on the path here. So that is pretty cool. I wasn't expecting to find a coin so soon, and I do believe it's 1910, which is the first date they were minted in Australia. So, seeing as we're doing a bit of a show and tell type of day, I'll leave you on, and I really need a tripod so I'm not holding cameras and everything, but normally with silvers, give them a bit of a squirt. Sometimes they'll just clean up really nicely. Other times they're a bit harder, but normally just give them a little bit. Sorry, I'm too busy looking at my cleaning and not watching where I'm filming, which is rather a common occurrence. But we've got Edward the 7th there. I'll just give this a bit more of a rub, and I'll give him another wash. Rinse the dirt off, and then find a patch of sunlight somewhere, and we'll put him down here and just dry him off a bit, and try and get the shadows out of it. There we have our silver, and that is a fairly worn looking Edward the 7th shilling, which is a pretty nice way to start the day. 1910. Trying to remember if I've got a 1910 shilling. I think I have. But anyway, the first year they were minted in Australia. So pretty cool. And, you know, to find a shilling first up is a jolly good start. So we're right in the middle of the track here, and so I'm going to have to, one thing I will say, if you do find a coin, don't just keep walking, have a scout around, make sure there's nothing else here. You know, that's always the way you do it, because often where there's one, there's 2 or 3, or, you know, could be a coin spill over here. So, you know, find a coin, stop, search the area. That's always what I do. Find something good, you don't just keep walking. So anyway, we may not find anything else here. It could be a one-off drop being on the road, but we're going to certainly have a look around. And let's drop down to reality of metal detecting. Is, you know, I found a shilling first up, well, apart from that 8 we dug up here, which is great. That's a great start, but it's not always like that, and 99% of the time you're going to be digging rubbish. Well, some days 99% of the time. It varies, of course, but, you know, pull tab. That was a 1718, so we had to dig it, but it was just rubbish. And, you know, that is the reality of the hobby, is you got to dig rubbish to find treasure, or what's treasure to us. And another misconception I've found, just if you're metal detecting in public, people always assume you're looking for gold or you're trying to get rich, you know, ask you if you've found enough to buy a Ferrari or something, and it's not really the, you know, it's not really why we metal detect. It's just the cool history, the finds you find, and, you know, if you happen to find a gold coin or something, that's great, but, you know, I'm not out here trying to get rich, so, you know, it's more interest and, you know, the lovely bits of history you find. Not really a hobby. If you're thinking you're going to buy a detector and get rich, well, maybe you might if you find something good, but, you know, the reality is most of the time you're just going to be digging rubbish, and, you know, a lot of the coins you find, while they're cool, they're not really worth much at all. So, you know, they're worth something to us because we found them, and they're cool bits of history, but in reality they're not really worth a heap, a lot of them. So it's not really a hobby if you want to get rich quick, you know. They're always going to show you finding brilliant things because when they're advertising these things, because they're trying to sell them. So, but anyway, it's just a common misconception that you're trying to become rich if you're out with a detector. But, you know, normally the people who are out here just to get what they can get, they're the ones that don't fill in their holes because they're only interested in what they can find and hope to find something that'll get them a buck. But anyway, so just down to the reality of it. Normally, you know, I don't really show too much rubbish that I find. I show a little bit just to keep it a little bit honest, but you do find a lot of rubbish, and the only reason I don't show a lot of it is because who wants to watch digging rubbish after rubbish after rubbish? So I will often show it in the end, in the wrap up. I'll empty the pouch out and we'll see all the rubbish if I haven't thrown it in the bin already. But just showing you the reality of it, you're going to find a lot of rubbish. Over here was where I got the shilling, I think it was there. And I've been going up and down, heading over this way, and then I'll check out that way and up this way and probably keep walking after that. But I had a 15 down here. I dug a little square bit of brass there. Had a 15, and I've got it out, and we've got a button. So what would a day be without a button? Anyway, we'll give that one a clean quickly. However, if there's nothing on it, I'll just keep going. If there's any writing on it, I'll bring you back and we'll have a look. So I'll see how we go. Up here is where I found the shilling, and I've been, you know, done a big area in here, just scouted around and found a few bits of rubbish, but no other, well, found a button, but no other things of real interest. And then I've started heading back down the track here, and I've come across this signal somewhere. That one. Dig, dig, dig like a wombat. Just seen it. Looks like a rivet washer. That one, it's got a root growing through it. It's just dropped off. So, you know, always good signals, and you know, you always find those in older sites. Anyway, and quite often you'll find rivets and rivet washers travel in packs. So I've already dug another two. Well, that's the second one. That one's actually a rivet. But, you know, when you find one, you're not too surprised to find a couple more, or half a dozen, or a million more of them. Well, let's talk a little bit about iffy signals. So, you know, a lot of signals will be good, you know, you get a good clear ping, 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 and you can dig it. Some will be, and this one's not too bad, but, you know, it's just a bit iffy, which could mean it's iron, or there's more than one thing buried here. There's like an iron nail with a brass bit as well. But this one is not too bad. Get a nice clear signal that way. And it will vary on the shape too. If it's a funny shape, it'll be good one way and not so good the other. Brass screws are good at that. They'll give a funny, iffy, jumpy signal, and it will usually be better across the screw than long ways. And it's really up to you what signal you dig. Sometimes you get a really iffy one, but there's just a few good numbers, and usually what I do is dig it, get a bit of dirt out of the way, and try again. If you've still got a signal, then you can keep chasing it. Sometimes, you know, it'll just disappear, or you'll give up. But often, if you do chase an iffy signal, it will eventually get better, and I've found some pretty good finds chasing that iffy signal, even if I can only get it one way. But it does take a bit of patience sometimes. So all that being said, this one's not too bad, and I'll see what it is. And we've already got him up, and I do like the look of that actually. Don't know if you can see it there. I reckon that could be part of a snake buckle. Could be. Oh no, it's an adjuster thing. I'll zoom you out. I was going to say normally they have a little tongue in the middle, but I thought that was going to be one with a loop that the snake goes on. But still a nice little buckle, and I reckon there's something iron there, so maybe it did have a tongue on it. So you can see this buckle here. That's the adjuster ones. That's what I thought it might have been. But they do have that tongue, and they don't have the middle bar, I don't think. Anyway, but what I thought it was going to be was one of these loop bits here. But anyway, not to be, but we did find an adjuster. Not quite sure what this one is. Some kind of handle of some sort. It's pretty heavy, whatever it is. I reckon it's something electrical, possibly like an electrical switch, but I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one. Anyway, I don't know what that is, but it's got like a rubber here, which would have stopped it getting current, I guess. That is some kind of switch, I believe. And I reckon they're terminals there, perhaps. So some sort of antique electrical tap of some sort. anyway, I could be wrong because I don't know that they had power out here, but I don't know. But maybe they had a stationary engine running a generator to recharge their Teslas and iPhones at night. Now we're not far from where I found the cricket buckle. I think it was somewhere here. Somewhere, maybe even up here a bit further, somewhere around here. Anyway, I'm doing over this area again and just picking up on a few lower numbers and anything I've missed, and had a 16 here. And I pulled up that. I thought, oh no, have I cut something in half? But I haven't. It's an old break. But I don't know what that is other than a label off something, but it's kind of nice looking. I was going to say off a milk can, but maybe off some bit of machinery or something. It's been fastened to it there. Blair something long, don't know what that says. I'll give it a quick clean and I'll get a better look at it, but don't know where the other half is. Probably still on whatever it was ripped off. So we're back in a tick and we'll see if we can read a bit more. Well, that's a bit better. 53 to 54 long something London. So something 54 Long Street or something, London. And I don't know what that would have been. Blairus or something. Something dash and I reckon PA would be patent. So if you know what that is, you can drop a comment. If we had the other half, it would be all clearer, but Blair, I don't know what's missing there. I don't know what it's off, but it's a nice little plate, so who knows, we may find the other bit, although yeah, I'm a bit doubtful. Now just there's where I got that little nameplate thing, and we've got a good signal in here. Given it a bit of a scrape, got away some sticks, and we're going to live dig it and see what it is. 21, 22, and see what comes up here. Hopefully we've got underneath it. And it's going to be a horse buckle. So there we go, still got the iron tongue on it. So anyway, jolly good. Chasing some 20 numbers down here, and we've pulled out that one, which I reckon is a surround off a pocket watch face, a fob watch. I reckon there could be a hinge somewhere there or something, unless it just clipped on. But anyway, I reckon that's what it is. Could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Well, we've got a 2-for-1 deal here. Got a couple of things to show you. I just dug out of here this one, which I know no idea what it is, whether it's broken off something or what, but we're going to give that a clean and find out if it's got anything on it. And I also just dug here 17, 18 sort of numbers, and we have got, let's get the best lighting here, that one. What does that look like? Something of a ring, I think. So we're going to clean him up as well. I don't know, he looks like he's missing the main stone, but anyway, I'll see how it cleans up, and I'll have to have a bit of a look for it in here. But anyway, I'll give those two a clean up. I can get that dirt out of there. and I'll see what we've got. So clean up 2 while we're going. Okay, we're back, and that one there is a lock cover. Says tumbler lock. It's got a pretzel in the middle and a star. Oh, I don't know if you call it a star flower or something. Anyway, tumbler lock, and it has been broken or melted or cut there, but it's an old break. So anyway, would have had a bit with a hole in it, so it swiveled, I reckon. And our little ring is that one. So quite a nice little, I think it's just brass, little brass ring, and got 2 stones and 1 missing. So we'll see that a bit later in the wrap up and get some better photos hopefully. But it's a nice little ring. Given the fact that that hole was caked full of dirt, I'm nearly going to say the stone is not down here, or it hasn't just dropped out, to put it that way. So anyway, I will have a look still, but anyway, that's our little ring. It's only a brass one, so, and it's quite a, you know, small one, so a lady's ring I'd say. I dug a NE Plus Ultra button there. We'll see that later. Bit of lead and bit of brass there, and an 1819 here, and just there was where I got the ring. So not far away. I took my plug out, and what do we see down there? Something looking juicy. Is that going to be a Britannia penny? Coming in at those numbers, sort of in the shade here, I reckon it could be. So get a bit of focus. Anyway, we'll clean him up and see what we've got. And she is a Britannia. You can see the date there, 1885. Britannia, which is Queen Victoria. She's a little bit rough, but as in texture, so still got a bit of shine here and there. But anyway, 1885 Britannia penny. So not far from the ring. Absolutely brilliant. Well, I've got the ring here. The penny was just here, and I had a 10, and I've pulled out one of the old corset fasteners. It's a rather small one. Anyway, here's where I found all the corset fastener, the coin, the ring, and over here I had a 10, and we have got that one, which is a anchor button, and it has got a crown on the anchor, so that might make it a military one. So we'll give it a brush up and have a look. She cleaned up quite nicely. So I think when they got the crown on them, they're a military one. You get them without the crown, and they were just a commercial one, I think. But it has got an iron back on it, which is why it only rang up at 10. Anyway, it's still cool, so we'll take that one. And during my crouching here cleaning the button, I did notice in the dirt here a non-metal button, a little porcelain one or something, so a little white one. So anyway, we may as well put him in the pouch as well. Well, there seems to be quite a few buttons in this area. There's another one. So I don't know if it's a plain one or what, but it's got something on there, but I think for the sake of time we'll worry about that in the cleanup, and I'll see what that says. A couple of bits off a carpenter's ruler. Well, we may have found Big Brother to our little anchor button. Right there. May not be, but let's see. I don't think it is. Oh, I don't quite know. I don't think that is an anchor. That's something else. Anyway, we'll give it a clean and see what it is. Pretty sure that's not an anchor. And that one might have writing on it. So that is a rather cool looking button. So I'll give it a clean and see what it is. Thought it might have been a bigger anchor one. Well, all you button gurus out there, have you ever seen that one? It says on there, Australian Commonwealth, and in the middle is a crown. There's some initials which I'm thinking it's ER for Edward Rains, because in the middle of it there I can see a V11, which is 7. So I'm thinking it's Edward the 7th Rains, Australian Commonwealth. So that is a pretty cool little button. Lovely solid one. So I've never seen that one before. I didn't know they existed. I don't know what sort of uniform it was off. But you know, obviously a some kind of uniform button, and I can't quite read what that says on the back. I can see Sons, and I'll have to give it a bit more of a clean. It's a beautiful sturdy little button. I'm nearly guessing it'll be Stokes and Sons of Melbourne, but I don't know. But that is absolutely beautiful. So pretty sure that's an Edward the 7th button. Anyway, it's unusual. Never seen it before. Never seen one before. So let's see if I can do a bit of research on it. But that is brilliant. Chasing a 17 down here, and I've seen that in the bottom of the clod, which I thought was just an impression, but maybe that is actually the piece. Maybe. I don't know, it is just an impression. Don't know what that is. Bit of a half a bead, I think. Anyway, so if that's an impression, whatever it is still down here. And that'll be it right there. It's funny how it leaves just enough copper in the dirt that it can look like an actual thing sitting there. So what is that? Very, very delicate, whatever it is. Ooh, look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. It's a brooch. It's got a blue stone in the middle. And I don't know whether it is meant to have stones all around the edge or whether they're just little divots. But I'm going to have to give that one a clean for sure. That is absolutely beautiful. And believe it or not, I've sort of been doing up here where I found all the buttons, and I've come back around and I've come back up here, and just there somewhere was where I found the ring. And I found signals here and there and the coin over here, and you know, come back around and I found that one. So enough chit chat, we'll give it a clean and we'll see it in all its glory. And there we go. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? If she'll focus for us. It's got a purple stone in there. And I should know what the name of those stones are, if it is one. I did find a brooch with a purple stone just like that out, well not here, but not far from here, one other time. So that is absolutely beautiful. And I'm glad it's still got the stone in the middle. Flies. So, get him to focus again. Turn him over. And it's a pressed little, well, I'd say it's been gold gilded. You can still see a bit of the goldy tinge there. And it's had something in the middle that has broken off. So whether it was a pin or something. So I don't know. You know, it's not a clip-on brooch, but maybe some kind of hat pin, hairpin. Don't know. Anyway, it's an absolutely ripper of a find. Well, as I said before, find a ring, find a coin, find a signal, stay in the area, give it a good search, go back and forward, go over it a few times. Ring, coin, brooch thing under my feet, had a sort of a, well, it was a pretty jittery signal actually, but sort of 16, 17, 18, and we have got that one, which I'm really going to say is a halfpenny, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say it will be a Victorian Britannia. I do reckon if I get it into some sunlight and give them a bit of a rub-a-dub, we may get a date straight off there. 1872. She's a bit warped, a bit smooth and warped. Anyway, I'll just try and get a bit of zoom and focus here. And there we go. 1872, halfpenny. Got a bit of a whoop there. So I don't know what's happened to that one. Bit cancerous and whatnot on that side, but Queen Victoria's hiding in there somewhere. Anyway, that is beautiful. So before we run out of time, we'll keep looking and see what else is in this spot. But a ring, a broochy thing, buttons, coins, absolutely brilliant. So I'm certainly staying here for the rest of my time and just bobbing around and digging whatever I can find. So that is beautiful. Still in the same area, had a 14 down here, and we've got that, whatever that is. 14's sort of too low for the coins, but maybe it's just worn so much at this ringing lower. But I can see a couple of holes in it, so don't know. Maybe nothing, but we'll give it a clean and see if there's anything on it. Cannot see anything on that, but on that side it's got a nice gold gleam to it. So I don't know whether something clipped on there with those two holes, because it sort of looks like there's an outline there. I don't know. Anyway, whether it's old, whether it's not, I don't know. It's got a goldy gleam on that side, but I can't see anything on it, and I don't think there's anything left behind. So anyway, don't know what that is.